I want you to take a look at this World War I memorial. It stands 40 feet tall and has been there for nearly 100 years. Now some non-Christians are apparently up in arms over its shape, and they want it taken down. Back now with new details is Fox News chief correspondent Jonathan Hunt. Jonathan, what's going on here?
Good evening again, Lisa. This is a case that focuses on just one memorial in Maryland, but it could have far-reaching consequences impacting monuments across the nation, including some at Arlington National Cemetery. The memorial at the center of this case is a cross that honors World War I veterans in Bladensburg, Maryland. Its construction was started by community members and mothers whose sons died in World War I, and it was completed by the American Legion. A lower court has ruled that the cross should be removed because it violates the Establishment Clause of the Constitution, which of course reads, quote, "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof." But an amicus brief filed by 30 states says the Supreme Court, quote, "should reverse the lower court's call for its destruction, as its place in our national tradition and broader cultural context make clear. The Bladensburg Memorial honors both the service members it was built to honor and the constitutional ideals, including in the First Amendment, they died to defend." And West Virginia's Attorney General, who led the group of 30 states in challenging the lower court, said, quote, "We owe a great deal of gratitude to the brave men and women who sacrificed everything for our country. Honoring that sacrifice with memorials that include religious symbols does not violate the U.S. Constitution and is one of the many freedoms these men and women fought to preserve." Now, the challenge to the 93-year-old cross began with the American Humanist Association, a non-profit atheist organization that has, of course, Lisa, filed similar lawsuits across the country. Lisa?
Thank you, Jonathan. Joining us now is West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrisey. He is leading the 30-state charge to protect this memorial, and also Fred Edwards, former executive director of the American Humanist Association and a plaintiff in the case. Fred, I want to start with you. Why are you against a memorial that honors those who paid the ultimate sacrifice to protect our freedoms like the First Amendment?
Because we want to honor them all. And that is our main thrust. We even have a hashtag honor them all, because we feel and we recognize that a 40-foot tall Latin cross on government land broadcasts clearly that only Christian soldiers are being honored.
Fred, it's honoring all of the men who died that are listed on that memorial. How is it honoring them to remove it? That doesn't make any sense, despite your hashtag.
In 1985, the cross was declared to be in honor of all veterans of all wars. All veterans were not Christians. All veterans include Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, Jews, atheists, everybody. And we want to honor them all. That's the whole point of our case.
But it's a memorial honoring them all, the people on the memorial who passed away.
No, it is not honoring them all. It's a Christian cross that is 40 feet high, illuminated at night, that you drive by it and all you see is...
I don't care if it's 1 feet high. It's honoring people who lost their lives. I want to go to the Attorney General on this. So a lower court actually ruled in favor of Fred and his group. But you are leading the charge along with 30 states, filing an amicus brief with the Supreme Court, arguing against what they're trying to do here. Why are you doing that?
Well, a couple of reasons. First of all, thank you for having me on. It's a very important issue because if the Supreme Court doesn't reverse what just happened in the Fourth Circuit, we could be dealing with a situation where hundreds of memorials across the country may be forced to be torn down. And we think, just as you indicated, that the purpose of this memorial is to honor the war dead. We know when the Peace Cross was first put together, this was done to honor 49 individuals who fought in World War I, and they were commemorated. Now, across the country, there are memorials very similar to this, But you have to look at the context in which these memorials are set up. The states and individuals have the right to commemorate the dead, and that's different. That's not a purely religious purpose. Quite the opposite. That's a secular purpose. And so we think this fits very cleanly within the Establishment Clause jurisprudence. We think that the court could clarify this a little bit going forward, but I think that this Peace Cross was done with private funds. This Peace Cross was done and was unchallenged for almost 90 years. It's been part of the fabric, the historic tradition within the community, and there's really no reason to tear it down from a legal perspective.
Well, Fred, and I want to talk to you about this slippery slope problem here that the Attorney General just addressed. And I also want to read you a quote from the first Liberty president, the CEO of Bladensburg Memorial Cross Supreme Court case. Do we have the quote? All right. So if this gravestone is bulldozed to the ground, it's only a matter of time before the wrecking ball turns on Arlington National Cemetery and the hundreds of memorials like this one across the country. So I want to know what you think of that, Fred. And also, not only that, you look at awards that are given out, military awards. You've got the Army's Distinguished Service Cross, the Navy Cross, the Air Force Cross. Do you want all those removed as well? Are those not okay with you?
No, and this is not a gravestone. It is a 40-foot tall Latin cross on a highway median. There's no doubt that a highway median is, one, government land, and two, not a cemetery.
Does it coerce you into changing your beliefs simply by saying something?
It gives the impression that no Jews are welcome in the city of Bladensburg. It presents Bladensburg as though it were a Christian enclave. When I first saw that cross, when I first drove into Bladensburg, when I moved out here in 2003, I thought, that is ridiculous. That just gives this impression right at the start. It's unmistakable. And when it's illuminated at night, all you see is this cross floating in the darkness. You don't know it's supposed to be a war memorial. You can't tell. And in fact, the war memorial aspects of it are so small and so minor, they are dwarfed by the size of the cross. In fact, when I first went to look at that plaque,
I want to get the Attorney General's response to that, because to me, Fred, it seems like you're trying to push your opinion on everyone else in the state of Maryland as well. Attorney General, your response.
No, I'm talking about freedom.
Hold on, Fred. I want to get the Attorney General back in here as well. Attorney General?
This is a war memorial, and in fact, it's one of several that's over at the location. So there's a memorial to other wars that were held throughout our country's history. We know that the inscription on the memorial is secular in nature, talking about valor, talking about honor, that you can actually have a memorial whose purpose is mostly secular. And in fact, if you go back and you look at how many individuals who came back from World War I were honored, they were honored by crosses. In their poems, there are stories that talk about the rows of crosses that were set up, and it's meant to honor the dead. So you can really distinguish that. So it really, I think, takes a stretch to say that this is purely for religious purposes. I think that the history bears out that this is primarily for secular purposes, and that, once again, if this cross were allowed to fall, then you could see Arlington, some of the crosses there in trouble. In my home state in West Virginia, whether you're in Elkins, whether you're at the state capitol, there are a number of capitals that could fall, because this starts to stretch First Amendment jurisprudence and not the way the founders intended.
That's just ridiculous, because we have worked with Arlington National Cemetery to make sure that humanists and other non-Christians have their symbols on their tombstones. We want a variety of symbols on tombstones because we want to honor them all. And those war memorials that are across the street from the Bladensburg Cross are secular in nature, and we do not challenge them. We support them. We only challenge the one that is a 40-foot tall Latin cross.
We've got to get going. I'm sorry, Fred. I don't agree with you. I don't think you're honoring them at all. But we've got to end with that. Thank you both for joining me tonight.
Thank you so much.